I love big, beefy, burly men with muscles that can just actually kill me. Wait. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Pokemon West and East. And this one is about... drumroll please... fighting types! It's been a hot minute since I made a video on my region specialists. So today I'll be designing the fighting type gym leader. And on top of that, I have some real good Pokemon for y'all. A redesign, a pre-evolution to an old Fakemon, and a brand new Behemoth. So strap in everyone, cause this video is the full 6-pack. Let's start with the redesign, shall we? A while ago I held a community poll on all of my Pokemon from West and East. And out of all of them, one of the least popular was Pandizz. And I can definitely see why. It's a very flawed design, so I feel like it could use a redesign. It itself is already a redesign, so this time I have to get it right, shall we? To those who don't know what the heck a Pandizz even is, it's the evolution to my original variant of Spinda. Both of these took inspiration from the trope of drunken sailors, Belgian beer, and drunken kung fu fighting. It was quite a genius concept that sadly got ruined by a lackluster execution. The fundamental basic of the design stays the same, but I added and changed some aspects that help it feel more fleshed out. Like by adding a large spiral tail to continue the spiral patterns, or changing up the ears to clarify their shape more. If you look for it, you'll find a bunch of little spiral shapes in this Pokemon design. One thing I really focused on was giving it more personality, and in that aspect I definitely succeeded. An important aspect of this design is, of course, the star pattern on its body. This iterates on Spinda's iconic spot gimmick, giving it over 4 billion different forms. But with the regional variant that I made, also having 4 billion different forms, hypothetically, and Pandizz having the same amount of forms as well, this now means that there will be 12 billion different Pokemon forms in total. Gotta catch them all, right? Also, no, I am not making every single Spinda form. You cannot make me. And while Spinda's patterns are on its face, Pandizz's patterns are on its body. This way they resemble sailor's tattoos. Meet Pandizz from Panda. And get this. Dizzy. And that's enough chocolate juice for you.
Pandizz, the star panda Pokemon, a poison and fighting type. People often underestimate it because of its bumbling and foolish behavior. In reality, Pandizz is as strong as a Machamp and as fast as a Ninjask. Its fighting style is quite unique. It tumbles about unpredictably to chop down foes like Amblebee, whose hypnotic honey it loves to drink. Its arms are strong enough to crack Tyranitar's armor. Its location is unknown. It has the abilities Tangled Feet, Poison Heal, and the hidden ability Contrary.
You may be thinking, oh but Gary, you idiot, you absolute buffoon, you fool, you imbecile! Poison Heal on a poison type? Those can be poisoned, dummy! And first of all... ouch. Second of all, I'm also giving it a brand new move called Intoxication. A poison type status move that raises every stat by 1 stage. However, in return the Pokemon is poisoned. Even when it's a poison or steel type. So I made it broken basically. Another Pokemon that could learn this would be Shuckle. A very fitting move for it. Oh, pardon me. Okay, next Pokemon. Have any of you watched Pokemon? It was a series on this channel during the month of February. Oh no, sorry, wait. During the month of May, where I drew a brand new design every day. And some of these Pokemon were for my Hummusum region. One of which being Leo Lord. One of my favorite additions to the Dex. And in it I teased this pre-evolution to it. And now it's finally time to actually design it. Leolor took inspiration from a lot of Low Country culture and history. The Dutch and Flemish lion, as well as the lion statue at Waterloo being the main inspiration. So all of these aspects are toned down in this Pokemon. I treated it more like a baby Pokemon, using common childlike tropes in the design. Like how Mime Jr. takes inspiration from children mimicking adults, and Bonsly takes inspiration from children's drainage hole. Princinder over here takes inspiration from bratty and spoiled kids, with an arrogant personality, very befitting of a cat, as well as the inspiration of Napoleon. I originally thought of calling this guy Napoleon, but that was a little bit too close to Empoleon, so I changed it to Princinder. Take a deep bow for His Majesty, Princinder, from Prince and Cinder.
Princinder, the shortcut Pokemon, a fire and fighting type. It has an unbearably snobbish personality, being very aggressive and arrogant. For some reason, however, many rich people still enjoy it as a pet. Scientists speculate it's a distant cousin of Litleo. Their similar typing and biology could mean that it branched off from Litleo when the region sunk many years ago. It can be found in the town Verdely, as well in the areas Eastern Hoogwoods and the Highfence. It has the abilities Moxie, Supreme Overlord, and the hidden ability Adaptability.
I hope this line can rival the likes of Lucario and Zoroark in your eyes. They give off that same energy, and that's very intentional, because I kind of needed a bit of a fur-bait Pokemon in this region. It's very important, trust me. There is one more fighting type Pokemon I have to reveal, but let's first take a detour to the real tour, the fighting type Gym Leader. And if you're enjoying this video, then go do some flexing on that subscribe button. Oh yeah, use that big, meaty, girthy arm. Anyways. So for the fighting gym, I took inspiration from the city he'll be set in. Peteldonk is based on Antwerp, one of the biggest dockyards in the world and the second biggest in Europe right after the Dutch port of Rotterdam. So it makes a lot of sense for this Benelux-inspired region to have a dockyard, as well as the gym leader based around it. The gym leader will be the chief of the workers in this massive dockyard, like a builder, kind of. Which is very fitting for the fighting type, as he'll need to be strong and lift all that heavy stuff. And lift he can! All of the gym leaders of my region have an object associated with them. A pair of scissors, a microphone, and for the fighting type gym leader, I thought it would be cool if he was holding up a steel beam over his shoulders. Like Girder. Which would of course need to be part of his team somehow. I felt like it could lend to some funny moments with him obliviously swinging his steel beam around, almost hitting people and Pokemon around him like some kind of old school Tom and Jerry skit. While also adding some intimidation to this design when he swings that big girthy thing around during a battle, as if it were a wet pool noodle. This will be the third gym, so it's pretty important that this gym leader feels more like an actual threat compared to the relatively manageable threats before him. Though, I mean, Butterfree was quite a menace too. I had a lot of fun drawing this guy. Muscles are really tough to draw, so it was pretty nice looking at all these big, buff, brawny, muscled, oily men. For reference, of course. However, I ended up making a big mistake with his proportions and gave him really short legs on accident. However, instead of fixing this, I decided to just go with it and make him a short king. I thought it would be really funny to make this beefy muscled dude also be one of the shortest characters in the region. No shame, of course. We love our short kings. It's just a little silly. I gave him a pretty standard dock worker outfit, with orange and black being the main colors. Orange is often associated with the fighting type, but this would be the first time it's this prominent in a design. And as an orange enjoyer myself, the color, not the fruit, I quite enjoy this color scheme. It's rather pleasing. I gave him some tattoos later on as well. At first, just this one tattoo of an anchor. However, I decided to revisit the design long after I recorded it, just so I could add some more. These serve as fun teasers for some upcoming Pokemon I have planned for later in my region. So get to speculating, guys. As well as a good way to tie this leader into his ace, Pandizz, whose randomized star patterns on its body resemble tattoos too. You're being challenged by the brawny longshoreman, Anqadir. His name derives from the Arabic name Qadir, I think that's how you say it, which means strong and mighty one. And I added an an in front of it to make it sound like the Dutch word for anker, which means anchor. I already stated that I wanted my region to be pretty diverse, with the gym leaders being from different regions and cultures, but also different places equivalent to our real world. Anqadir would be from some kind of Moroccan or North African region. During the early 20th century, there was a big influx of Moroccan and North African immigrants to the Benelux, looking for better job opportunities here. Many of them got employed in construction, such as in dockyards. I imagine Anqadir coming from an immigrant family, and he slowly worked his way up from just a regular worker to the chief and even the gym leader of the dockyards, becoming quite well liked by the people around him. Also, he's short. Let's go! He looks so goofy next to Diamond. But we gotta respect a 5-foot flat short king, right? Anqadir will be challenged in Petaldonk's dockyard. With these gym challenges, I wanted to lean in harder into minigames, which is something I feel Pokemon lacks in. With Finka's gym challenge, it was a fun rhythm minigame, but with Anqadir, it would be a game of memory. First, you'll get to see into some containers with a Spinda in them. All of them have a very distinct pattern. When the containers close, you have to pick the one with the correct Spinda in it. If you fail, you'd have to fight against the Spinda. You would have to repeat this 3 times, with each time adding a few more containers. Later on, you can of course replay this minigame and try to get a high score, with the challenge becoming harder due to less time to see the Spinda, pick the container, and the patterns becoming slightly more similar. There'd also be a small but increased chance to see a shiny Spinda during this challenge, which you can of course catch. Similarly, you may encounter a Hawinian Spinda, though of course the odds would be drastically higher than the shiny, which would be a fun way to catch one in the Hummusum region. When you pass this challenge, you'll finally get to battle Anqadir. Anqadir's first Pokemon is a Timber, a very fitting Pokemon for Anqadir, both being industrious beefy men holding big, hard, girthy thingies, with Timber having a big piece of wood and Anqadir a large steel beam. I wanted to give him Girder, but his Timber would only be level 20, while it only evolves into Girder at like level 25, so it's a bit too low level for this. Timber has the moves Bulk Up to increase its stats, Low Kick for stab, and Rock Slide for some decent coverage. It also has the ability Guts, just in case you want to use some poison types. Not that they'd be a good idea anyways, because with Anqadir's team I wanted to invoke the power of Whitney and her Eldritch Abomination. What makes that battle so brutal and hard was the infamous beast's Miltank, a powerful Pokemon with extremely high stats for this point in the game. Similarly, Anqadir's ace will be Pandizz. Yup, that's a beast. It has the ability Tangled Feet, just to keep it from being too busted for this point in the game, because 540 base stats is a heck of a lot. It would know the move Intoxication, a risky move to help it set up, Teeter Dance to confuse your Pokemon, Feint Attack for some useful Dark type coverage, and Rock Smash to deal some powerful stab damage. And to make sure you can't outstall it when it's poisoned by Intoxication, it's holding a Pecha Berry, meaning it can set up for basically free at least once. This is already a pretty hard fight, I imagine. Luckily, a Psychic type will be very useful in this fight. However, things will get even harder in the hard mode match. First off, Timber gets a fourth move, in Mach Punch, which it learns as an egg move, and which gets boosted by its hidden ability Iron Fist. Yeah, I wanna make this fight a lot harder actually. But the real obstacle is Pandizz, which gets to make full use of its signature move Intoxication, with its ability Poison Heal, allowing it to boost all its stats, while it also gets to heal itself. And its Pecha Berry is replaced with an Oran Berry. And you guys kept complaining Pokemon is too easy. Just be glad that I didn't add a third Pokemon. After the battle, Anqadir will congratulate you.
Strength comes from hard work and training. It's what made me and my Pokemon strong enough to persevere, even when the world was against me.
And he'll give you the Anchor Badge, as well as the TM for Break. There is one more Pokemon I have to discuss. This was actually one I wanted to draw for Pokemon's Netherlands entry, but I ended up changing that one last minute. So here's a fun little exercise for you. Okay, close your eyes. Now, try to imagine the Netherlands. Tell me, what do you see? If you see the surfing Rhyperior, then you're cheating. But if you saw a field of tulips and windmills, then you're spot on. I'm designing a windmill Pokemon. Also, you can open your eyes again. This is already the most Dutch Pokemon you can get. But there is more to this design than just a windmill. I'm mixing it with a giant. If you remember from some earlier videos in this series, I tie in a lot of Spanish culture into these designs as well. And for Behemill, I'm doing the same. Don Quixote, I don't know why he's called that. I'm just gonna use his Spanish name. Don Quixote is a famous Spanish satire novel about knights, with the titular... oh no, not again. Don Quixote being a delusional self-proclaimed hero who goes around doing silly stuff like fighting a windmill because he thought it was a giant. This is a fun inspiration that gives me the opportunity to make a possible counterpart Pokemon someday down the line when I feel like it, maybe. Probably not though. Giants are pretty important in Dutch and Belgian folklore, with one of the most famous being the Giant of Antwerps. As the story goes, a giant was terrorizing the city of Antwerp, threatening people and merchants. But then, a hero came and cut off the hand of the giant, throwing it into the river and scaring it away. A common misconception claims this is how Antwerps got its name, from the Dutch word hand, meaning hand, and werpen, to throw. The real name just means something like riverside, but this fake origin is much cooler. There is also the tradition of stadsreuzen, city giants. These are giant puppets that are hollow on the inside so the wearer can puppet it around. These puppets are used in celebrations and parades in cities like Antwerp, Aalst, Dendermonde, and a lot more. Like, a lot more. These same traditions are also common in the Netherlands, and of course in Spain. City giants are used in many fascinating ways. One of the most interesting is two city giants getting married, which is somehow more common than I expected. They are often used in religious processions too. It's really fascinating.
Fun. This battle will be fun. Be you in for a thrill? Because this is Behemill!
From Behemoth and Windmill.
Behemill, the windmill Pokemon. A fighting type. They used to terrorize the outskirts of cities such as Petalodon. Since those dark ages, Behemill have retreated to the countrysides, where they hide as regular windmills, avoiding people. It is said that they helped create the very landscape of the Hammerstone region, digging canals, building hills, and draining water. One Behemill spent all its life raising Mount Zavadu. It can be found near other windmills. It has the ability Wind Rider and the hidden ability Wind Power.
Behemill's shiny is lime green. It may look like your standard ugly barf green Gen 3 shiny, but it actually takes inspiration from the iconic green windmills from Zaanse. Also, it's massive. I mean, it has to be, right? It's a giant living windmill. It needs to be big. Also, the Dutch are very tall. Did you guys know that? I'm pretty sure you guys know that. Throughout the region there will be static encounters with Behemill, which could serve as a Sudowoodo or Snorlax-like roadblock, preventing you from reaching certain areas. So you'd have to battle them to proceed. Well, that was fun again. I got to talk about Hotman, so I'm happy. It's been so long since I got to talk about the Hammerstone region, so this is very nice. I missed it. If all goes well, I have a very special video next week. Trust me, you guys are gonna love it. And after that, I have more Pokemon West and East content in store for you. So look out for that too, and have another wonderful day! I've been Gary the Muffin. Gotta catch me later.